Hello and welcome to Asia Business Report. I'm SHARANJIT LEYL in Singapore. We start this morning with Japan, where the stock markets remain volatile, and that's because there's ongoing investor concern over Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's latest moves to revive the nation's growth. His fresh economic plans are being called Abe's third arrow, but has he missed the mark? Rupert Wingfield-Hayes there in Tokyo. Well, until recently, it was subject to US sanctions, but now Burma is the focus of some of the world's biggest businesses. About 1,000 top bosses have descended upon the underdeveloped nation as it hosts the World Economic Forum on East Asia. From Rangoon, our chief business correspondent, Linda Yu, reports on how business could boom in Burma.
We tend to think everyone has a mobile phone, but in Burma, this is how most people make their telephone calls. And that's because only 6% of the population in a country the size of Britain have access to one of these, a mobile phone. The government, though, wants to raise that to 80% in just 3 years' time, which is why foreign companies are rushing in to provide telecommunication services. However, two of the biggest companies in the world, Vodafone and China Mobile, have pulled out. The reason is because Burma, though it has significant growth potential, is a frontier market, which means it's a place where it's risky to do business. Until recently, this was a cash economy. This is one of only 130 ATMs in the country, and most of those are located in hotels for foreigners like me. It's because just 10% of the population have access to a bank account. But there is significant potential. Burma has the three things that foreign investors look for: a big market, low cost, and natural resources. To keep all of it going, though, will require reforms to continue and stability to be maintained. That's not the only thing that Burma has to do. For it to catch up, it has to industrialize. It must have a large manufacturing sector to support the market by raising the incomes of its people. And being the poorest country in a region characterized by regional production chains, it certainly has the potential to do so. Looking at the other countries in the region, if Burma industrializes, it could grow strongly for another 20 years. And that's why multinational companies are clamoring to get in.
Chief Business Correspondent Linda Yu there. In other news from around the region, India has hiked up the tax it puts on gold imports in an attempt to slow demand for the precious metal. And that's because gold purchases are a large contributor to the country's current account deficit, which is at a record high. India is the world's #1 gold consumer, and the tax hike is the second that's been imposed by the government this year. Of course, for more news and analysis from around the region, make sure you log on to the BBC's website and click on the Business Index. Well, elsewhere in Asia, East Timor is one of the poorest nations in the region and also one of the newest. The nation achieved independence 11 years ago and has relied on outside help for many years. In the meantime, vast offshore oil and gas fields in the Timor Sea have led to the formation of a petroleum and gas fund worth an estimated $11.7 billion. The International Crisis Group has warned that it will be hard for East Timor to provide economic opportunities without exhausting some of those revenues. I asked East Timor's Prime Minister Xanana Gusmao more about that recently when he was here. Now, you've talked about your desire for East Timor to join the regional economic community ASEAN. How far away are you from achieving that goal, and what benefits would ASEAN membership bring? The Prime Minister of East Timor, there, Xanana Gusmao, to Taipei now, which is hosting Asia's biggest computer show all this week. Computex attracts about 1,700 tech exhibitors who are all there to showcase their latest and greatest gadgets. Cindy Su has been navigating the exhibition floor, and she files this report on what consumers can expect in the near future.
Computers to recognize faces. So just by walking in front of this computer and showing my face to this little camera, it can log me in automatically. Now, this is considered especially useful for people who are physically impaired or those of us who are multitaskers and are busy with many other things.
And in addition to checking out the latest gadgets at Computex, Cindy Su also caught up with Gregory Bryant from technology giant Intel. She asked him about the changing trends in the industry.
iPad seems to have totally changed the way people do computing. It's more mobile and lightweight. Are PC makers responding fast enough to this new challenge?
And Gregory Bryant there from Intel, bringing an end to this edition of Asia Business Report. I'm SHARANJIT LEYL in Singapore. Thanks so much for watching.